Hey, what's up, everybody? Ryan Miller checking in for growth stimulus trainings. Call it what you want. That's your question. My answer. Episode 81 today. Dieting. We talk about a controversial topic today. For growth. Call it what you want. Call it cutting to bulking. Call it reverse dieting. Call it just eating intuitively for growth. Call that what you will as well. Some people do it intuitively way too slow if you want to coming out of their and what it really is, or their contest prep phase. Call that what you will as well. I've noticed that, over the past couple of years, when the term reverse dieting really kicked into, I would just say mainly like the social media world, because people outside the social media fitness world really don't have a clue what reverse dieting is. It's just not a term that's used out in the real world, to be honest. Over the past couple of years, I've seen cases where people, whether they're clients of coaches or whether they are just handling their nutrition on their own, these people will be, I've actually literally seen 6 months post contest or post photo shoot, which means very lean, as lean as that person is capable of getting generally. 6 months post that body composition, they are boasting and bragging about gaining anywhere from just 1 to 2 or 3 pounds of total weight gain. And this is moving into an off season. This is ramping up their calories, but obviously not ramping up their calories enough to get out of that near contest shape body composition. So they've gained some fat, but they have really only gained 1 to a few pounds of weight gain. Now, these are real people that I've actually talked to, and the reason I talk to them is because I see them making that post where it's 6 months post lean state, claiming about only 1 to 3 pounds of weight gain. And I have to ask them, honestly, because I just am genuinely curious what their goal is at that point. What are they trying to do, knowing that they're moving into that far into an off season where the goal is generally to build, to grow, to make new lean muscle tissue, to actually improve and move into the next show, or just grow for your own personal goals. You don't have to step on stage to have bodybuilding related goals. So I want to know what they're trying to do, and if they think that they're being productive in the off season, in the bulk, in the growth phase, when 6 months post contest they have only gained a few pounds. Because anybody that knows anything about muscle growth knows that that is not being productive in terms of muscle growth. So what I found is that these people, they usually are under the influence of a coach, or an article that they've read on reverse dieting, and what they believe is that as long as they're eating more calories than what they were in their cutting phase, basically they believe that they are staying lean and they are gaining muscle at a great rate. And the fact is that, honestly, that is delusional thinking. And the numbers, you can argue with somebody on opinions all day long, but when you have hard numbers and real physical evidence, you can't argue with that. It's something that's concrete. It's something that people, you can't just say, well, this works for me, or what works for me may not work for you. It's working great for me. When the numbers don't stack up and they don't add up, it's actually not working good for you. In your head it is, because you are bought into the idea that it's working. And people, you can convince yourself of anything being the truth, or anything happening when it's actually not the truth and it's not actually happening. The mind is very powerful, and when you're bought into something, it's like you can tell somebody that their numbers do not show progress, but they still don't believe you. Now, some people do, and some people change, and by making this video, I'm really hoping to get more people that are in this position to actually listen up, actually do some real logical, critical thinking, on their own with my help and actually change and be more productive in their off season. So if you're one of these people in this position and you care about muscle growth, that's the thing. You have to care about muscle growth to be getting anything out of this video. So let's just talk about the numbers. Now, what we know is that everybody that comes out of a contest 6 months later, if they've increased their calories, they are going to have put on some body fat. I don't care about how much they've put on, but they have admittedly put on some body fat. It's impossible for them not to. So they've put on some body fat. Now keep in mind that these people have just gained up to 3 pounds. In my personal experience, this is what I've seen. It's that little. It's up to 3 pounds. So let's say you have a 150 pound person and they were 150 pounds at their leanest state. Now let's say they put on 1% body fat. That's around 1.5 pounds of body fat. Okay, now generally 6 months later, even if you're looking, close to where you were on stage, it's fair to say that you've put on more than 1%. So even if we go with 2% body fat, and that's not even accounting for added fluid retention weight or water weight, fluid weight. So basically what I'm trying to say, and what makes perfect logical and scientific factual sense, is that we can account their 1 to 3 pounds of body weight gain. We can account for that in body fat and in fluid retention. Even if we just negated fluid retention, you could account for that in body fat. So keep that in mind. That's the weight that they've gained. That accounts for the increase on the scale. And if they're claiming that they've gained anything else, if they're claiming that they've gained muscle, it actually has not happened, because the weight that they've gained is body fat. You have to go up a little bit. If you're moving your calories up from 2,000 to, let's say, 2,800, you're not going to remain at the same body fat percentage. You are going to go up. So, factual statement. The body weight that these people have gained is from body fat gains naturally occurring from increasing their calories into what they call their reverse diet. So when you have a person claiming, all they've done is they've stayed the exact same leanness, or they've gained, actually these people haven't claimed to stay the same leanness. They've claimed to go up a little bit in body fat. They've lost a little bit of their definition, and that's why I can be confident in saying that their weight gain is from body fat, and they will admit that. There's no secret to that. So essentially, what they're claiming is that they have gained muscle along with that fat, but they're essentially saying that the muscle that they've gained is weightless. Now you can see the obvious problem there. There's just not enough pounds gained on the scale for them to claim anything else but body fat, but they're still claiming these lean muscle gains. And this is where they've bought into a concept that does not work. And no matter what the numbers say, they are going to tell you that they're doing something that is physiologically and physically impossible. It just does not happen based on the numbers, and just based on common sense, based on what we know about a natural athlete trying to stay near contest lean. You're not going to be making your efficient muscle gains in that state. Your hormones are not going to be rebounding, and you're not going to be set up for optimal muscle gains. Really, obviously from the numbers, you're not going to be set up for any muscle gains at all. Now, it's important for me to say that now that we've got this concept out of the way, and this hard evidence out of the way, that these people are bought into this concept in their minds, but people that aren't bought into it can easily see that they are really wasting a lot of time. I mean, you're talking about wasting a half a year And that's just what I've seen. They could continue for longer. They're wasting months and months and months, and they're not doing themselves any favors by staying in that contest lean, I would say hormonally inefficient or hormonally unhealthy state. They're not doing themselves any favors at all. Nothing. So what I want to say is just that when somebody talks about this and the fact that they're doing this, I think it's healthy to ask them general questions. It's not like you're going to come out swinging. You're just going to say, I'm just wondering, what are you accomplishing when 6 months post contest you've only put on a couple pounds and you're still nearly as lean as you were? I mean, based on your numbers, maybe point out the numbers to them and just ask them what they're accomplishing, because I think it's really important to have, or actually just make a person aware of a difference of opinion than what they're used to following. Just a different line of thinking, another outside pair of eyes that actually just really wants to go by the numbers and just show them that if they want to be gaining muscle, they really should be doing something different. And what that difference really comes down to is they should be consuming more calories, and that's really the main thing that they should be doing. That's really the number one solution to the problem that they're in when they're trying to stay extra lean. They are thinking that it's productive for them to stay that lean and gain such little weight, even after months after contest prep. The number one solution for them is just to increase calories. And when I've actually brought this up to people, some of them listen and some of them don't. The people that don't listen, they go on doing the same thing and they go on wasting their time. But the people that do listen, I've actually had them personally thank me, because what they say is, I was doing things wrong. I was happy that I was staying lean, but my goal was actually to gain muscle. And what I should have done is I should have been eating a little more. I should have put on a little more body fat. And I'm not saying that you have to become obese. I'm saying you become what a natural competitor should look like in the off season. You soften up a little bit. You gain a little body fat. You let your hormones upregulate as a result of that body fat gain. These are all good things. You don't let yourself go. You don't let yourself become obese. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there's that happy medium between obese and contest lean, and that's where you want to get, especially at the peak of your off season. You should be right in that happy medium, because you've worked your way up and then it's time to prep again, and then you work your way down. But they have been so happy that somebody else, in these cases myself, actually cared enough to question them on what they were doing and actually cause them to think a little bit, think outside of the thoughts that they had bought into. They had really bought into the article on the method that they were using, and the article told them that it was the best method for them, or the coach told them that it was the best method for them because it was the coach's preferred method. That doesn't always mean it's the correct method. There's a lot of people that are telling people to do things that are not the best for that person. And so basically, they were thankful. They'd gone through the other way, and then they'd gone through the way that I mentioned to them, which I just talked about, just eating a little more, getting a little bit softer, letting the body do its thing, getting strong and gaining muscle in the off season, which is what they wanted to do. It's exactly what they wanted to do. So they'd gone through both phases, and they made much better gains, eating a little more and softening up a little bit, and they were a lot more happy, and they felt a lot better every day as well, mentally and physically. And so this video, if it rings true in your head, if you're thinking to myself, man, like, it sounds like he's explaining the spell that I'm under. It's 6 months post show, and I'm I'm basically weighing the same that I was on stage, or I'm just even a few pounds heavier, maybe I should think about what I'm doing, and maybe I should think about the fact that my increases in body fat right now, that's where my weight gains come from. I'm not actually gaining any muscle. If you're thinking that this is you, I want you to either just increase calories on your own because you know deep down in your gut it's the right thing to do, or because you're actually going to trust somebody else and you're going to think outside the box, and or just think outside the concepts that you've bought into. Use some logic, use some numbers, and you're going to trust what I'm saying because it does help real people. It has helped real people, and I'm super proud of that because it's all about getting good information out. So if you think that I'm talking to you, directly to you, consider making the changes that I'm talking about. And essentially, let's just, grow some more muscle, because that's really what we're after here. That's really what this video is about, is taking people that aren't efficiently going about their time and their efforts, and they're not efficiently growing muscle. And I want to change those people into people that are eating for a better reason, a more logical reason, and they're gaining more muscle as a result. That's what it's really all about. And that's it, guys. Right now, again, this is a post-workout video for me. And just like last time, my kids are, we have 2 babysitters over right now. So right now the money is burning up. And as usual, I don't want to spend more money on babysitters than I have to. So I'm going to cut this off. It's at about the 18-minute mark right now. I hope that you do take what I said to heart if you feel like I'm talking to you. And if you don't feel like I'm talking to you, if you haven't made this mistake already, use this information in this video so you never make that mistake in the future. All right, this has been Ryan Miller with GST's YQMA, episode 81, and I'm signing off. Thank you again for watching. I appreciate the views.